Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We are in Genesis chapter 28 for this morning's 4-3-2-1. 4 minutes, three preachers, two applications, one text. Genesis chapter 28. Genesis chapter 28 continues the story. Really, we're moving and transitioning from Isaac fully into Jacob. Jacob's deception is still something that God is going to work with in order to bring this man about to be the godly man that he will eventually be. In this chapter, we begin with Isaac giving him the blessing and directing him that he is to go back to their homeland in Mesopotamia and find a relative there, much like the story of Isaac, to marry in order to find someone who's going to be not tainted with the sins of the Hittites and the Canaanites there. God makes a promise to him in verse 3, through Isaac, God Almighty God will bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may become a company of people. And in verse 4, and may he give the blessing of Abraham to you and to your offspring with you, that you may take possession of the land of your sojourning that God gave to Abraham. So now we have an extension of the promise that was given to Abraham. So this now is moving on through Jacob. But God is still going to fulfill this promise that a great nation is going to come through Abraham. Now it's going to come through Jacob. We take a short detour in verses 6 through verse 9, looking at again at Ishmael, who was marrying Hittites. But now he understands that this is hurting his mother and father. So there you see that Esau isn't a horrible person. At least now he marries someone within the family, just like he has seen the directive given to his father to his brother. And the latter part is the story most of us probably remember, and that's the story of the dream that Jacob has. As he begins his journey, he leaves Beersheba and stops at a place that we will eventually know as Bethel. He sleeps at night and sleeps with his head on a stone, and that night he sees this dream, and in this dream he sees a ladder, and angelic beings are moving up and down that, descending and ascending up that ladder. In verse 13 we are told the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and the east, to the north and the south, and you and your offspring, and in you and your offspring shall all the earth be blessed. Verse 15, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I've done what I promised to you. And he is so impressed, Jacob, by this, he makes a vow in the latter part that if God is going to do this for me, verse 20, I will dedicate my life to him. And that's where we begin to see a little bit of a change really begin to affect this great patriarch. Guys, what do you have?
Well, in verse 7, it talks about that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother and went to Padan Aram to find his bride. We all know the topic that children are to obey their parents. That is the first commandment with promise. But I want you to understand at this time Jacob was probably an older man, or an older young man. And what I just really want to point out to the fact that is bowing to wisdom, bowing to instruction, not humbling yourself to the point of receiving wisdom and guidance from others. Here it's in a parent-son relationship, but it could be in an elder, a shepherd-saint relationship. It could be in all kinds of different relationships. And being humble enough to accept instruction, to realize that there's people who have a great deal more wisdom than you do and can direct you in ways that help you avoid all kinds of harm and pitfalls. I think about Proverbs chapter 8, verse 33. Hear instruction and be wise and refuse it not. I just think it's a good warning for us.
Good.
And that story of Jacob's dream really sets up the rest of Jacob's story, particularly verse 15, when it says, Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Jacob is going to wrestle with believing that and trusting in that for the rest of his life until he finally, along this progression, learns to trust in God, learns to trust in his promise to him. And I think the lesson there is for us as well. We're along a progression of learning to trust that God is with us and that he's going to help us and that he's going to keep his promise. And I think we have to keep that in the forefront of our minds.
All right, good thoughts today. You may have some additional thoughts in the comments below on Facebook. Write those down and share with us what you've seen within this text. We appreciate so much you joining with us. God bless.